Hello, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Can you please introduce yourself briefly?
Okay, my name is Dozie. I'm the founder of Quadloop. Apparently, Quadloop is a clean tech startup that leverages electronic waste to build sustainable energy products. The
Okay.
idea is to see how we could utilize the ever-growing e-waste stream
Yeah.
and derive profitable and useful products from them.
Okay. Can you share your personal journey and what motivated you to start it up?
Yeah, personally, I grew up in a family of engineers, and
Okay.
along the line, I had flair for electronics. I remember back in the day, I started um, repairing mobile phones after a year was introduced to Nigeria. So, but along the line, I noticed that there's a deficiency in hardware electronics in Nigeria,
Mm.
whereby we just import, we don't manufacture.
Yes.
So at that point, we started that myself and a team member, Alex Shitu, we started doing some research around hardware electronics. So that is one of the reasons why we started doing R&D, looking for ways whereby we could build physical products that could at least solve basic needs in Nigeria and Africa.
Okay. Then your mind just went to using electronic waste.
Yes, yes. So for that, it didn't happen immediately, but
Okay.
along the line, we found out that when we look at all the components that we need to put together, and we found out that these components are not cannot be locally manufactured,
Okay.
right? Because in Nigeria, we don't even make switches, right? So to the lowest of the components, we have to still think of a way to bring them from China.
Okay.
So this is why we now start to look inward
Okay.
to see how we could utilize the waste. And to our greatest surprise, we found out that yes, we have a lot of waste because of our growing population,
Yes.
and almost every young person have a form of gadget, either laptop, phones, speakers, or what the likes.
Okay.
So that's why we started looking at how can we now utilize this waste to derive something of value. So that's how
Okay.
I started. Yeah.
Okay. So those were your hurdles. Your challenges were the fact that Nigerians import almost everything and some other part of it. But how did you scale through these challenges? How did you overcome them?
Yeah, so that wasn't basically the hurdle. That was just
Okay.
like a means to create a living because
Okay.
typically I didn't really like the fact to work a regular 9 to 5 job, right? But of course, we met some hurdles along the way. At some point, I remember it was really difficult to really get things done, get to even get materials, get a space to do prototype. But my grandma, late grandma, she gave me my first seed funding, which was 100,000 at that point,
Wow.
and I used that to buy my basic tools like soldering iron, meters, screws, and all those basic things I needed then. So the hurdles was more like a financial hurdle from the early stages, but
Okay.
along the line we faced other things like maybe getting to work with how will I put it, industry experts, right? People that have bigger, a wider scope of knowledge in terms of what we are trying to design or build locally.
Yes. What year exactly did you start?
So for R&D, we started 2017. We did
Okay.
research for about 2 3 years. Then in 2019, we launched the first version of the product. And in 2020, we decided to develop on that existing version, and that's what we have to date.
Hmm. Did you study engineering in school?
No, I did not.
Wow. That is so nice. Balancing environmental impact and profitability can be a delicate dance. What strategies did you adopt to find this equilibrium?
Environmental sustainability and profitability.
Yes.
So those are two different things, right? But for us, I would say because we're already seeing the profitability around the waste,
Mm.
which is in line with environmental sustainability and impact.
Yes.
So for us, we're more like, hey, this waste is money. We're going to make some money out of this waste. At the same time, we're going to do the environment good, as well as create, of course, social and environmental impact, right? So the question is, how do we balance it, right? To me, the balance is more like we make money and we make the environment clean. Just keep
Right.
it on a level.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually. Can you share moments in your journey as a climate founder that brought you the most joy?
So for that, I would say 2020 when we first got our first grant in USD by the NCIC Olon. So I think that was a very good one because at that point we were almost like giving up. So when
Okay.
that money came, it was like a very huge joy for us. Yeah.
What of the most challenging or disheartening throughout?
Yeah. So the most disheartening is when I took out of that money a huge sum, and I gave it to some third-party service guy,
Oh no.
and he didn't deliver as planned, and he
Oh.
disappeared with the money.
How
So,
did you how did you overcome that?
well, I just had to move on because he was supposed to give me X amount of enclosures for X amount of money, and at the end of the day, he just gave me few pieces. He was supposed to deliver 100. He just gave me like about 10 or 15, and I still ran with it. We were able to put that together and put out the test on that, derive the results we want to derive, and we move from there.
Okay.
But it was really disheartening because the guy collected a lot of huge sum of money.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Where do you envision your startup in the next 5 years? That is in 2028, to be precise.
Okay, so for Quadloop, right, I see Quadloop as one of the companies that would be able, in Africa, that would be able to implement the circular economy model very well. The circular economy model, which talks about recycle, reduce, repurpose, refurbish,
Yes.
all the R's, all the R's, right? So I think we are trying to make sure that we pioneer this circular economy model in this sector of e-waste. So I see us as a frontliner in that space, and also I see us as one of the companies that, of course, will build products and will recycle products very well from electronic waste moving forward in Africa.
So we should watch out.
Yes, watch out.
All right. Tell us about your interest in becoming a part of our carbon credit marketplace. How do you think it can benefit your startup and the environment?
So, carbon credits currently, carbon credits / ESG is more like a buzzword. And one of the things I like about Ecostack is the fact that at least they are being a pioneer to this space in Nigeria. And of course, we like to work with people that are pioneering into what they do, because at least before other people will want to replicate, they've already stood out, right? So I see carbon credits as one of the ways to make money, more money, and it's one of the ways to see how you could make big corporates to be more environmental responsible.
Okay. Speaking on carbon credits, how crucial do you think they are against the fight against climate change, and the fight against climate change rather?
So this is more like, it's not really clear to me, because the big corporates are the guys that emit more, and they are the ones that should be held responsible. But in like a place in Africa now, let's look at Africa as a case study. If you look at the global emission, Africa is said to not contribute to 1/3 of the entire, right? Big developed countries contribute more because of their level of industrialization,
Yes.
right? But at the end of the day, we still feel the impact because, of course, we are still living in the same world.
What advice would you give to aspiring climate founders who want to make a positive environmental impact while running a successful business?
Yeah, for that, I think you just have to have a clear problem statement. Understand your problem, understand your value proposition, what problem you're trying to solve, what solution you are bringing out.
Okay.
So if you have that well spelled out, I think your journey just start getting started at that point. So because that's the first thing to know, understand the problem and get out the solution for that. So yeah.
Okay. So before we end this, can you, speaking on carbon credits, can you explain more for those of us that are not familiar with carbon credits?
Like Ecostack, for instance, what I did on research on Ecostack and other companies, even companies abroad, is that the idea is, okay, these guys that are emitting huge CO are trying to offset. How do they offset? They try to look for other guys that are trapping CO to see how they can now exchange. Like, hey, you are trapping X amount, I'm offsetting X amount. If I want to be responsible, I have to give you guys, encourage you guys financially that are trapping, reducing the CO2 that we emit. So that's my own layman understanding. But people like Ecostack can enlighten us better to know.
What key message or call to action would you like to leave our listeners with today?
Well, I would say, because we are talking about climate and the environment, I would say we can all experience the shift in the current climate situation. This is September and it's still raining like it's July or June, right? And even the guys and people in Norway and the likes, the guys in was it Zurich, because I was having a call with someone there, and the guy was like, "The summer is like is unending, right? There's continuous heat wave and all that. So, I mean, people should just be more responsible in terms of activities because we only have one Earth. So I just feel like we should just keep Mother Nature and keep Mother Earth safe
Okay.
for us all.
All right. Keep Mother Nature safe.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Dozie, for joining us. It's been our pleasure. I hope he's been able to inspire you as much as he has inspired us.